I was on the Strip yesterday. Met up with some friends over at Caesar's Palace, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that experience. First of all, the parking was free. Normally, you go into Caesar's Palace, you got to pay. So right away, and by the way, there was not a lot of traffic on the Strip. So right away, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I could just park for free. It's like the good old days in Las Vegas without everybody greedy asking you for your money. Even if you lose money, you got to spend $15 or $20 to park. So that was nice. So I go into Caesar's, and I got to be honest with you, not everybody was wearing masks. They have rules there. So I go up to the craps table because I wanted to play a little craps. They made me wear a mask at the craps table, and they gave me a mask to wear. 3 people per side, and they're very strict with those rules. But here's the stupidity of customers and maybe the employees not enforcing rules. There were people at the craps table last night at Caesar's that didn't have the mask over their nose, just over their mouth. And I said to one of the dealers, and he chuckled at me. I'm like, can you please explain to me what the point is of putting on a mask and not having it over your nose? I said to the guy, I'm like, it's putting on a condom and it broke and you keep going. What's the point of having the condom on? It's the same deal. It doesn't make any sense. So he chuckled a little bit. They laughed, but nobody forced these people to put the mask over their nose. Then don't force people to have masks to begin with. It makes zero sense, and that is my problem with this social distancing and the casinos altogether. Okay? I went to Red Rock last night after Caesars. They check your temperature, but that doesn't tell you if you're asymptomatic or not. What's the point of taking someone's temperature to begin with? If they're asymptomatic, they're not going to have a fever. It drives me nuts. This doesn't make any sense. And they didn't have those dividers, which, by the way, I think are a joke anyway. I'm talking about the dividers at the tables. We thought it might be at the craps table, might be at the blackjack table. There were no dividers there. Now, they did have guidelines, and there only could be a certain number of people. But let me explain to you how some of these casinos are as far as a double standard. I have a perfect example for you of what I saw last night, and it's a joke. As you know, when you play a game called Baccarat, players are allowed to bend the cards and touch the cards, right? Now, the so-called rules in casinos across the country are you're not allowed to touch cards because of the coronavirus. They don't want customers touching the cards. They don't want to put anyone in extra harm's way. Well, here's where they are completely full of crap. There's a guy sitting at the table that I was at that was betting between $5,000 and $20,000 a hand last night. I was in the high roller room. I wasn't playing. I don't have that kind of money, but I was watching a friend of mine play. And they allowed this guy to touch the cards for one reason and one reason only, because he was betting huge amounts of money. So according to Red Rock Casino, they're not a sponsor of our show, are they? According to Red Rock
no, they're not.
Stations, according to Red Rock Casino, you're not allowed to touch the cards because of the coronavirus unless you're a high roller. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. So what's next? If a group of people walk into a casino and they're $1 million players, they're allowed to open up one poker table in the poker room? It's a joke.
Yeah, that already happens, though.
Well, it's a double standard.
I mean, that's happened before.
But you understand what I'm
like
saying?
at the Wynn, you can rent out a table and play 10,000, 20,000 if you want to.
I understand, but you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a double standard. It's not right. Don't have the rule if you're going to allow someone walk in there with $250,000 and do whatever the hell they want. It's so ridiculous.
Well, it's probably because it's a private room.
But it doesn't matter. Private or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, those are $100 minimum tables. There's a lot of people that were there that were playing $100 minimum, and you let a guy not abide by the rules, don't have the rules. I don't care if it's somebody betting $5 a hand blackjack or $5,000 a hand. Be consistent with your ridiculous rules.
I mean, we went to Caesars last night, and we had dinner there. We went to that Mesa place, which was pretty fantastic. But there was probably, 4,000 or 5,000 people there, would you say, collectively, in Caesars, in all of Caesars?
I would say more. I would say the casino was a lot. There were a lot more people in there than I thought.
And I was very impressed, but it looked like the people that were wearing masks, they literally looked depressed, Brian, to me.
Well, I don't know if I can't see their face, so I don't know if they're smiling or not underneath that lovely masks that they were wearing. But I will say this:
just kind of walking very slowly, trying to be 10 feet away from somebody else. It just watching the whole dynamic of it was very interesting.
Well, they wouldn't even give us menus. It's a joke.
Yeah, we had to scan our phone.
Listen, it's either one or the other.
We had to scan the QR code.
I'm very
to get the menus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm very consistent on this. It's either one way or the other. Okay. Either practice social distancing and be consistent with all your rules, or don't do it at all. But stop pretending. And I believe these casinos are pretending. That is what they're doing. It's a false sense of security. Why the hell would you have people wear a mask mandatory when they don't have to put it over their damn nose? You dopes. I'm sick of it. Why are you going to tell everybody that they can't touch cards?
What do you mean you're sick of it, Brian? It happened one time.
What do you mean?
How could you be sick of it?
I had it happen to me in San Diego.
2 times.
Yes.
Sick of it means it's happened, multiple times, several times, dozens of times.
Here's what I'm sick of. Okay.
You get sick pretty quickly if that's the case.
Here's what
Brian.
I'm sick of. I'm sick of people.
You have an upset stomach way too often under those circumstances.
Okay. Thank you for that commentary. Here's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of people being hypocrites. And by the way, if you look at our show rundown, I know you just got here. If you look at our show.
No, I got here at 8:46.
All right. What I'm saying is, when I talk about the word hypocrite, I will explain to you why I believe the people that ran the George Floyd funeral.
Joke.
Okay, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the reason why I'm saying I'm sick of it is not necessarily just a few times of dope rules in a casino. I'm talking about across the line with George Floyd's funeral, hypocrites. I'll explain why a little bit later on in the show. But, JD, this isn't going to change. I understand what you're saying. It's only happened to me a few times. We are going to have to deal with this stupidity. And here's what I mean by stupidity. In these casinos, for months, there is no consistency with their rules, and it's a joke.
I think we're looking at a max of 60 days of this.
I don't think so.
An absolute max of 60 days.
I disagree with you there. But the point I'm trying
The virus has been called, Russia they had a big study out that called it a very mild respiratory illness. If there wasn't a lot of nursing home deaths, and we don't have to talk about COVID, but if there wasn't a lot of nursing home deaths, it would be probably a strong flu season. The mortality rate has been proven to be roughly 0.25 to 0.30. There's just a lot of things. You look what happened in the Ozarks where 200,000 people showed up and there wasn't one case within 2 weeks. Then you've got, if there isn't a massive spike in cases with all these protests taking place, you probably had maybe 2 million people protesting the last week, protesting, looting, rioting, etc. If there isn't a massive spike of cases nationally, then everything that we did as far as the lockdown and shutting down businesses was totally unnecessary. And I think we're going to find that out. And a couple weeks ago, what also came out is that this virus doesn't necessarily survive on surfaces, and that was one of the main reasons why the casinos were such hot spots potentially before.
Well, you guys should be ambassadors for the city, maybe work for the tourism industry here. Was there anything fun about going to the Strip?
It was nice.
It's all doom and gloom with you guys.
No, I'm just saying those that were wearing masks to me looked depressed.
I get that.
I did enjoy
it's an important part of the story, but was it good to get back?
Seeing people from all over the country with different T-shirts representing different cities, and there was actually a lot of young women walking around. It was a very diverse environment, but the masks thing it just freaks me out, at least for now. Maybe that's something I'll grow into or I'll get used to, but as of now, it just kind of freaks me out.
Short answer, no. It wasn't that much fun. I don't like it when.
How was Red Rock?
Same situation. It was pretty busy. Keep in mind, I was there pretty late last night.
You left at 11:30.
But there was a good amount of people there. They have a line where they don't put a thermometer, up your ass or anything like that, but they do take a picture of you, and somehow with the technology,
they damn well should, Brian.
Somehow with the technology, I
think that would enhance the experience.
All right, I'm trying to finish my story. They take a picture.
You should stick it in your rectum.
All right, they take a picture. I'm not even going to entertain that. They
take a picture of your colon?
No, they don't do that
okay.
either. Because JD has a wife and a kid, he wasn't able to stay out late last night.
That is an absolute fact.
Yeah, the life of married life.
Even though I live maybe 5 minutes away from Red Rock, still.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah,
sounds fun.
I requested permission as well. Turned down.
That's too bad. But anyway, they take a picture of you, and somehow by taking a picture, I guess technology, they can tell what your temperature is. But anyway, that's
the thermo cameras.
Yeah. Anyway, that is my thought on the Strip and the reopening and all that. I was frustrated. It's not the same. And I think these casinos, many of them with their rules, are an absolute joke because there's a double standard. They'll tell you what to do. You have to wear a mask. You can't touch the cards, but the second a high roller walks in there, all of a sudden they make exceptions. You guys are hypocrites who make those rules, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, I can tell you this, casinos are already looking at entertainment, live events, live music, so things are looking up in that direction.
Well, they're a bunch of hypocrites now. That's what I will say. And they have zero consistency with their rules and regulations, and somebody walks in there with a lot of money. All of a sudden, the rules change for them. I'm sick of it. That's what I mean.
Well, the Vegas economy, the Nevada economy needs revenue, Brian. We were destroyed by what took place because gaming was so important to our economy.
That's a completely different conversation.
But that's why that's happening, because these companies need money.
Okay, but that's a completely different conversation. You can need money and be consistent with your rules and regulations. That's all I'm saying. There needs to be some consistency here. I don't care if you're a high roller. I don't care if you're a $5 a hand blackjack player. You need some consistency.